VCT Lecture Series, Visual Communication Technologies. Welcome everyone, students, thank you. So once a month, basically, we're bringing a guest speaker to be, I was going to tell the guys to start recording. Are you recording, Robert? Yes, thumbs up from the video crew, all right. So about once a month, we're going to bring a guest speaker to talk about career and technology and motivation and all things being a success, student success. That's what we're about. And our theme this year is against all odds. So a lot of you have overcome different obstacles to get here today. Congratulations, and the hero of your story. You've made it. You're here. You're at Century College. And we're going to address those different things and talk about now that you have this step in success, what to do about it. And so we're super happy that our first speaker this year to kick it off is Lisa Rambo. Let's give her a hand. Lisa is super famous, and she's going to tell us all about her journey. Lisa, take it away. Yay.
Yay, I'm super excited to be here. I love when I get to come in and I get to share a little bit of my story. I guess where we'll start is I was super blessed 3 years ago to be cast on season 14 of The Biggest Loser. So just so I can know where we stand, who here has seen at least one episode of the show The Biggest Loser? Yay! All right. So I was a Biggest Loser super fan. I loved the show before I got cast on the show. You see, if I back up tape a little bit, I was someone who struggled with my weight my whole life. Before I graduated from I was 200 pounds when I graduated high school, and was someone who just wrestled with my weight forever. And it was something that I just couldn't get a handle on, even as I got older. And as I watched the show, I was inspired by these people who could go into a discipline for a season and lose a ton of weight, and it looked like they had a relatively good time doing it. So I was like, you know what, that is something I want to do. Season 8 was one of the first seasons I watched. Season 9 I loved, and so I was planning on being on The Biggest Loser season 12. Now, well, no, 11. When the casting call came out, they were asking for people to go to the Minnesota State Fair, to come out and audition to be on Biggest Loser season 11. I was like, I'm going there, one, because I love the fair and all the fabulous food, right? And so I went to casting, and I stood in this line with over 1,000 people. So you stand in line with 1,000 people, and at the end of the night, they called 25 people back. I got a call back. I was like, this is so incredible. Like, I am going to be on The Biggest Loser season 11. I got my call back. I got my interview. I did some Skype interviews with LA. It felt like this is what was going to happen. Then, all of a sudden, all the phone calls stopped, and it didn't happen. I was like, oh, bummer. So I'm not going to be on Biggest Loser season 11. Well, just a few months later, 6 months later, the casting crew called from Biggest Loser season 12. They said, you know what? We remember you from season 11, and we would love it if you would come back and try out. I'm like, this is so awesome. This is meant to be. I'm going to be on The Biggest Loser season 12, right? It felt like everything was happening just the way it was supposed to happen. This time I had to go to the Mall of America for the casting call. I go to the Mall of America. I don't have to stand in line because they called me. And went through the process, and all of a sudden I had nothing. I didn't get a call back. I didn't get anything, and I felt a little upset. But I decided that this was the time that I was going to lose weight, and I did. I remember Biggest Loser season 12 is my favorite. If you watch the show, it's like Courtney and Jay Jacobs, all that, and I decided I was going to lose weight with them. And you know what? Like I had done so many times before, I did. I lost over 60 pounds with that cast, and by the time casting came around for Biggest Loser season 13, I did not have 100 pounds to lose. Yay, right? That's exciting. But then what happened is just like all the other times in my life, you see, I had been someone who chronically dieted. I had lost weight and gained weight and lost weight and gained weight and lost weight and gained weight. And I had gained all plus more of my weight back, and they put out the casting call for Biggest Loser Season 14. I looked at my family and my friends, and I said, you know what? I know I've tried this before, and I know that this sounds crazy, but there's just something inside of me that tells me that what I need is there, and that I'm supposed to do this. And even though some people thought I was crazy, and that the odds were stacked against me, and there's no way that I could actually be cast on a TV show, there I found myself in the line for Biggest Loser Season 14. Stood in that line with over 1,000 people, and that night at 10 o'clock, I got my call back, and I started Skype interviews. Before I knew it, there I was in LA at finals week. You see, I lived through, this is my family. I lived through going through all these motions, and they started asking me about my family, about why I was there at casting. How come you want to be here? And I looked at my kids and I said, you know what? I know that my kids are going down the path that I'm going, and I don't want that. I know that I want to get a handle on this. So I stood in casting, and all of a sudden there I was, ready and able to do it. I remember meeting Miss Courtney, and then there I was at the first episode of Biggest Loser Season 14. And I'm sitting in the audience, and there's Miss Allie Sweeney up there. She's like, I have 14 keys to the Biggest Loser Ranch, and you could be one of them. I remember her calling my name and running down, and feeling like I had just won the biggest prize ever. I was going to be on The Biggest Loser, and I knew that all of my dreams were about to come true. Right? Now, the next day, things were crazy. So here's what I want to tell you guys. Like, there may be things in your life that seem hard, and people might be telling you that it's going to be impossible. Trust yourself. You guys dream big and go for it, because this moment, there was a lot of people in my life, they told me that it was impossible and that it wasn't going to happen. And then there I was, ready. Well, that night, we all went back to our hotel rooms. We made our last phone calls to our family, because when they say that you don't get contact with your family, it's true. The next morning at 4 a.m., we went down to the hotel lobby. We turned in our cell phones, our laptops, anything that would give us communication to the outside world. We put all of our bags in the back of two 15-passenger vans, and the 15 of us went all the way up the hills in Southern California to Calabasas, which is home of the Biggest Loser Ranch. I remember pulling on the ranch and thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so exciting. Now, being a Biggest Loser super fan, I had really great ideas as to what was going to happen. I was positive when we got there, we were going to get out of the vans, and there was going to be some sort of orientation process, right? That makes sense. They're going to tell us how it's all going to work. This is where the cameras are. This is how the sound works. This is where you're going to be sleeping. I was confident they were going to give us a schedule and a routine. I was confident that they were going to take us up into that gym. I was pretty sure I was not the only one who had never been in a gym before. I was confident that I wasn't going to be the only one that didn't know how anything worked. So I was sure they were going to show us. There was going to be some sort of a gym tour. This is a treadmill. This is a whatever you call it. This is how this works. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, that is not what happened at all. Not what happened at all. So what did happen? The 15 of us get out of this 15-passenger van, these vans, and right there, wardrobe is waiting for us. So they divide us up here. We need you over here. We need you over here. And they start putting on these fabulous blue outfits, right? Hand us our Asics shoes. All of a sudden, before we knew it, the sound team was coming in. They're starting to strap on mic packs and microphones. They're like, all right, we're coming out of the tents. We're all looking at each other. All of a sudden, this guy comes out and he's like, hi, my name is Stan, and I'm going to be the executive producer for Biggest Loser, Episode 1, Season 14. You guys all look great. You look fantastic. Now, there are some people waiting right up there that would like to meet you. Rolling, and walks away. Done. Like, game on. My us start to move our way up to the stairs of the Biggest Loser gym. I am scared out of my mind. You guys, I took lifetime sports in high school so I could do bowling and archery, right? I had never been on a treadmill. I have no idea what to expect at this moment. We get to the gym, and there they are, Bob and Delvette and Jillian, and all of a sudden I start to have like panic attack because I've been having nightmares of Jillian Michaels for months in the casting process, right? I'm just like, oh, please. Every interview I was in, I was like, just please, I just want to be Bob's favorite. You know, he had a favorite every season. Like, I just want to be Bob's favorite. Please let me have Bob. We walk up the hill, there's three signs telling us whose team we're on. I walk right up to Bob's, I don't see my name there. I'm like a little bummed. But I'm like, oh, I start to sweat. I'm like, please, not Jillian, right? I look next to her, I'm not on Jillian's team. I'm like, yes, I can totally take a little red team. A little red team, Delvette Quince. So I get on Delvette's team. I'm standing there, I get my red jersey, right? So it's fantastic. It looks like this, yes, right? So I get this red jersey, and I walk into the gym. You guys, I am cowered in the back because I have no idea what to expect. I'm standing there, and they are talking words. I don't know what they're saying because I was so nervous. Then all of a sudden, they come into focus, and I hear Delvette say the scariest words I've ever heard. Delvette looks at Jillian, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to take these 3 high school kids outside because we were the only cast that ever had high schoolers cast, and they didn't work out with us. They worked separate. And they all took turns with all the trainers. So Bob took, Delvette, I can tell my story. Delvette took the kids outside, and he looks at Jillian Michaels, and he said, Jillian, why don't you take my team? What? Now my nightmare, my biggest fear is coming true, right? I am going to be trained by Jillian Michaels in the Biggest Loser gym, and I am scared out of my mind. She looks at us with this look because she was back with a vengeance, and she goes, all right, white team and red team, up on the treadmills. I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to find the treadmill furthest away from her. So if you watch, I'm on the end treadmill, furthest from anywhere that I can get. So it's me, and then it's my buddy Jackson Carter, and then it's Joe, who is a football player, like he's been on this before, right? And then Francie and Kate, and then it's the white team. Now Jillian is focused on her team because they're her team. We're just sort of there. She's like, all right, you guys, I need you up here at the mock. We were like at the mock speed of 3 to start, right? So we're going at a 3. She's like, all right, I need you guys up to a 3.5. We get there, and all of a sudden, the white team starts to fall apart. There's people who are coming off the treadmill, and she's like, I need you back on your treadmill. All of a sudden, the big boys start falling off their treadmills, right? So they're falling off, and she's trying to get them back up, and they're running as fast as they can. They keep falling. They fall so many times, it's getting hard for them to now get back up on the treadmills. The treadmills are now starting to catch their skin, and we're seeing like treadmill burn. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And there's crying and bleeding. It's starting to feel like everything's getting out of control, right? Then Jillian gets tired of her team falling and stepping out and crying, and she comes down to in front of us. She's standing in between me and Jackson Carter, and she goes, all right, red team, let's show them what you got, right? I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to run. And she's like, all right, I need you to up your speed, incline 2. And I look over at Joe, and I'm like, this thing inclines? Shut up, that is stupid, right? And I didn't even know the treadmill inclined at this time. So I am now trying to get my buttons to figure out what is going on. And then if you look at Jackson, at that point, Jackson's eyes start to roll in the back of his head. I'm just like, Jackson, just keep your eyes open. Jillian's standing in front of me. She's yelling, this is my gym. And she's starting to think about kicking people out. Jackson all of a sudden passes out. On the treadmill, and he's like passed out behind me. I'm like, oh my gosh, medic comes in. I'm just waiting for them to yell clear. I'm like, I want something metal. This isn't a good idea. What is going on? I'm just running. I'm thinking, don't fall on Jackson. Don't fall on Jackson. Jillian is now kicking people out. She's like, all right, if you can't do it, and she's yelling. I look across the way, and Bob's team, they have these big medicine balls. They're carrying them over, and they're throwing them up in the air, and then all of a sudden one of them like throws up like all over the place. It's crazy town. We are only 12 minutes in. 12 minutes in, and all of a sudden, I'm panicking. I'm like, what did I get myself into? I don't know if I can do this. All of a sudden, everything starts to go in slow motion, and something comes over me. All of a sudden, I heard this voice say, Lisa, all you can do is the best you can do. All you can do is the best you can do. And if the best you can do has you passed out or crying or feeling like you're going to quit or puking in the corner, like it's all you can do. What I learned that day is that if you will just show up and do the best you can with what you've got will get better and better. You see, I think too often in life we are too afraid to keep going when things feel overwhelming. When school or class or life or jobs get overwhelming, take a big breath. All you can do is the best you can do. And if you will be honest and you will show up and you will do the best you can with what you've got will get better and better and better. Because you see, that day on the treadmill, I couldn't go faster than a 4, right? Without falling off. I'll tell you, today, I've got up to a 10 like once or twice, right? Without falling off. And that's a big stinking deal. Just show up and do the best you can with what you got. Now, I had an amazing time in the ranch. The ranch was incredible. I got to work out like too many hours a day. I got to eat really, really great food. I learned a lot about basic nutrition. I learned a lot about what my body could do. I learned a lot about just showing up on myself, okay? I made it 5 solid weeks. I took everything in that I could from every moment, everything my trainer said, everything the doctor said. I took everything in. I just was like a sponge. I knew that I was going to be Lisa Rambo, Biggest Loser, season 14, right? I knew it was going to happen. I believed it was going to happen. I showed up. Weigh-ins were crazy, right? We did crazy challenges. I got to meet some professional football players. That was kind of cool. Challenges were incredible. But I'll tell you that the camaraderie and being a part of a team was amazing. I don't know if I'd ever experienced what it meant or what it felt like to have true accountability buddies or to have a true team. What I'm going to tell you is that when you are struggling or trying to get through something, find yourself a team. Find yourself a group to get a hold of. Because when people who have like-minded goals and like-minded things to get done will bond together, hold hands, and get things done, great things can happen. Now, the crazy part about the show is that we all have to vote each other off at some point. So while we're a great big team, there's also this whole voting off process, right? So I made it 5 weeks. We're going into week 5, and I'm feeling stronger than ever. I've now lost like 30-some pounds in 5 weeks. I was feeling strong. We got to the weigh-in. The red team felt like it was going to be impossible for us to go home. Then all of a sudden the weigh-in started. I'm like, this isn't right. Like, we're not pulling the numbers that we should be pulling. And the blue team is looking great. And all of a sudden, there we were, our second loss. And I felt this panic coming over me. Like, I was going to be the biggest loser. Like, I can't go home. It's only week 5. Like, my family sacrificed so much, and I don't know what I can't go home. Not now. And then the red team loses. We all have to go into voting. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew it's a great possibility, right? I knew that there was some friendships made that wasn't going to happen. There was a Biggest Loser who couldn't get, and all of a sudden, there I was, voted off week 5 of the Biggest Loser. I'm going to tell you that it wasn't easy. Sometimes when your plans get disrupted, like I knew I was going to be the biggest loser. Sometimes when our plans get disrupted and our goals, we fall short, we get discouraged. And I did. I got discouraged that night. I got home, or I got to the hotel, and I had to call my husband to tell him that I was going home. It was discouraging. In those days, the moments of getting to the airport and flying home, I was voted off at 10 p.m. and I was home by 11 the next afternoon. It was a fast process. But by the time I got home, I'd recollected myself. I decided that I was going to be Lisa Rambo, the at-home winner of The Biggest Loser, right? I could totally do this. I got home and my family got 100% behind me. They became my new team. I now had an at-home team. And you guys, I will tell you, what seemed to be the hugest disappointment, getting voted off, ended up to be my greatest blessing. Because what happened is my family got involved. Okay, my family got involved, and they said, you know what? Here's the deal. I got voted off the week before Thanksgiving. Crazy. Who wants to go home and be on a weight loss game show like all through the holidays, right? And that was me. And my husband and my kids said, you know what, we're all in with you, Mom. Like, we're going to make our place a safe house because this is Temptation Nation out there, and we're going to do this together. And before anything else happened, my family said, okay, I want you to sit down and write down all of the things that they taught you. I'm like, all right, I'll write them all down. So I sat down, and I wrote out all of the things that were the most important that I heard on the ranch. What happened is I learned that my 3 food rules before the show weren't going to cut it, right? My 3 food rules are what makes a good thing better. Add bacon. Makes a good thing better. Add cheese. Makes a good thing better. Deep fry it. Probably my problem, right? So then we came out with 15 new food rules. I wrote down all the things that I learned. I was going to eat real whole foods. I was going to make sure I got good proteins and fruits and vegetables. I wasn't going to drink soda. I was going to eat breakfast every day. I was going to carry a cooler. I wasn't going to have excuses, right? I was going to eat healthy fats. I was going to stay away from things I can't eat. I was going to not eat after 7:30. All of these things that they said, what I learned is I needed to set a discipline in my life. I needed to set a discipline in my life because it had gotten out of control. You guys, this transfers over to a lot of things. It's not just about food, but about things, right? What I learned is, you guys, is that discipline equals results in all areas of your life. So if you have a project you need to be doing, you need to set down how you're going to get there. If you have a place you want to go, a vacation you want to take, what are you going to sacrifice? What do you need to do to get there? Whatever it is, I know that discipline equals results in all areas of your life. My family adopted the 15 food rules with me. We worked out, and I worked out more than they did. I worked out a lot. They got more active. This was my family a week before I left for the Biggest Loser Ranch. Okay, this is my family. I was home for 5 months. This is my family after. So I'm going to tell you, discipline, not only my discipline affected me, but affected the people around me. You guys, your discipline and your structure and what you do for yourself will not only empower you, but it will empower the people around you. It was incredible. So I had 5 months at home. I adopted 15 food rules. Everybody asked me, and I worked out. I set a schedule of when I was going to work out, how I was going to work out, and it was awesome. I felt in control. I felt empowered. I found something in me that I had never had before, and it's hard to explain. You guys, discipline will lead to an empowerment within you. I worked out every day before work and after work. I set my cooler. I ate exactly the calorie budget that the nutritionist gave me every day in and day out. And every month, or every day, every week, we had to call into the network to tell them how we were doing, right? So I would have to call in and tell Dr. Huizinga what I weighed. And so I remember getting on the scale. So I started out at 246. I remember I came home, I was still over 200 pounds. Then I remember getting on the scale one day. I'm getting on the scale one day, and I looked down, and I was like, whew, Tony Rambo. Like, I am under 200 pounds. Like, I am in Wonderland. Like, this is incredible. Allie should be here because she's always so excited about people getting into Wonderland. I feel great. I looked at him and said, you know what? If I could stay this weight forever, I'd be totally happy and completely content. But you know what? I'm on this game show, and I said I was going to get everything I got from the day one. And so I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to stick to those food rules. I'm going to stick to my workout schedule. We're just going to see what happens. I remember a few months later, I was stepping on the scale again. Step on the scale, and I looked down. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Tony Rambo. I have lost 75 stinking pounds. I've lost 75 pounds. That's incredible. Forget what I said 25, 30 pounds ago. Forget that. Like, this is where I love. Like, I love this. I can run. I can do a ton of things that I feel strong. If I lived at this weight for the rest of my life, I'd be totally happy and completely content. But you know what? I am on this crazy game show that I said I would do. I would follow through and do it till the end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep following my food rules. I'm going to keep showing up to all my workouts. I'm not going to compromise, and we're just going to see what happens. And who knows? I might just win this thing. So I keep working out. About a month later, I stand on the scale. I look down. Tony Rambo, I have lost 100 stinking pounds. I've lost 100 pounds. This is crazy. I never thought this was possible. This is nuts. I've lost 100 pounds. I'm in a healthy BMI, which I never thought. That's impossible. And all of a sudden it hit me. All of a sudden it hit me. Over and over and over again in my life, I bounced from 210 to 260 to 210 to 260 because I settled for better than, rather than pushing through to get to as good as it gets. You hear that? I spent a lifetime of settling for better than, rather than putting in the work to get to goal. You guys, I'm here to tell you today to don't settle. Don't settle. Put in the work. Get to your goal. Make it happen, because I will tell you, when you do that, it's something you get to keep, because I'll tell you, that's what changed my life. That was the change, is that I learned that I was far more capable of anything that I ever thought. So don't settle. Now, after I got to here, right, we're weeks from finale. I got to go finale dress shopping with my family, which was incredible. I picked out this beautiful pale pink dress, and then I took my dress and I was off to LA to finale. I get to finale, and I have to take my dress to wardrobe, right? So I go down to wardrobe, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm in wardrobe. I pull out my dress. They're like, oh, that's pretty, but we got some better stuff for you, right? So it's the night before, and our fitting, and they put on this red dress and these silver shoes and something I never would have purchased for myself. I remember standing there in that dress and looking at myself in the mirror, and I was looking at myself, and I was like, who are you? Who are you? You're the girl who never finishes anything, and look at you. You're the girl who never finishes anything, and look at you. You followed through. You never skipped a workout. You never cheated on a meal. You always ate your calorie budget. You did everything you possibly could. Look at you. Who are you? You guys, I went on a game show that was about losing weight, and it ended up being nothing about my weight at all. Because in that moment, it didn't even matter what the scale said the next day. I had already won. You see, I'd found a sense of confidence in who I was and who I could do, what I could do. And that next day, I got to walk out on stage. Oh, that picture. I got to walk out on the stage, head held high, knowing that I had done everything I could. I know that my family was proud of me. I knew that all of it was worth it, win or lose, which is good because I didn't win, but I did, right? I came in second place. I was the first runner-up to the at-home prize that season, but I learned that you can do anything you put your mind to it, you can do. Now, I'm telling you guys, don't wait, which you're here, you're going, you're getting it done. I tell you guys, don't settle. The last thing I want to leave you guys with was this never quit piece, which goes right along with your theme for the year. Never quit. You see, I went on the show, it was 3 years ago now. I'm 3 years out from finale. If I had come home and ditched my food rules and went back to the way that I was before, my eating habits the way they were before, I would quickly be 300 pounds again, right? If I went home and I decided that I was never going to work out again, I would lose a part of who I became, right? But I'm telling you, and if I didn't set new goals, I would lose it, right? So I want you guys to never quit. I keep motivated today by setting new goals. I'm big on goal setting. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? My goal was to become the Biggest Loser. My goal was to become that home winner. My goal was to do the best that I could. When I came home, I remembered that presidential physical fitness patch, right? I talked about earlier that I walked the mile in high school because I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to make it happen. So one of my first goals was to earn the presidential physical fitness patch for a senior in high school. I haven't done it yet because I haven't got that stinking pull-up, but I will. I will, you bet. Another goal I set was that I wanted to pay it forward, and I wanted to help other people who were trapped in a mindset that they couldn't do it either. So I started up Losing with Lisa, or Biggest Loser boot camps in my gym, which has been incredible. Another thing is, remember me not being able to run on that treadmill? Week 2 on the ranch, they came up to us. They said, all right, you guys are going to run a 5K. I was like, you're kidding. Have you seen us? Like, we were only week 2. I'm like, people train for 5Ks. We can't do this. So we get all on the start line, and they're like, all right, go. We ran that first 5K. My first 5K time was over 50 minutes. So when I came home, I was like, all right. My mom's like, we're going to run some. We ran some 5Ks, 10Ks. I had a goal that I was going to run a marathon, right? Run a marathon. That's crazy. That's like 8 5Ks in a stinking row. That's crazy talk, right? So I decided I'm going to do it, and I ran the New York City Marathon. So 1 year and 1 week later, for my very first 5K, I ran the New York City Marathon, and it was incredible. It was incredible. What happened is in that marathon is that I ran every single 5K faster than my first 5K on the ranch. You know what? That just brings us back. If you will just show up and do the best you can with what you've got will get better and better. And soon you'll be doing things that you thought were impossible. Because I'll tell you, that very first 5K, if you would have told me that day that a year from now I would run a marathon, I would have told you you're absolutely crazy. My knees are swollen, my ankles hurt, I could barely get through 3 miles. You can do it. Week 3, Allie Sweetney, I was standing on the scale. She asked me, Lisa Rambo, why are you here? And I said, you know what? I didn't come here to get skinny. I came here to get strong. There's something about figuring out why you're doing something. What is it that drives you to get here every day? What is it that drives you to show up for yourself? Why? Why are you here? And why do you keep on doing it? I keep on developing my why I want to stay healthy, why I want to stay in the fitness world, why I want to keep running runs. I'm going to tell you it's about my family. My why is I want to be a strong, healthy mom for as long as I can, right? I encourage you as a student to figure out your why. Why are you here? What is the goal? And get yourself down to a sentence as to why. What's your why? I want to be a strong, healthy mom for as long as I can. I want to be healthy because that's good for people. I want to be confident because when I am confident, my family is confident. I want to be confident so that the people around me can find their confidence, right? What's your why? But bigger than your why, what I've been struggling with lately is I have this why. Why do we still stumble? Give yourselves grace in the journey because it happens, right? Give yourself grace. But the biggest thing is belief. You got to believe it to achieve it, right? Delvette was big about this. Very early on, he said, I want you to envision, picture what you're going to look like at finale, week 1. I want you to see yourself at the end, to visualize what you're going to look like, what you're going to be wearing, what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be able to do that you can't do now. And then I want you to show up every day in the process as that person. I want you to believe that you can get to your goals. You guys, belief is huge. I wrote it all over my fridge this month. It's my new stand. Like, you got to believe it to achieve it. Don't let negative self-talk, don't let others' negativity get into you. Don't let people take away your dream, because I'm going to tell you, I want you guys to dream big. Dream big and go for it. Why not you? Why not you? A lot of people had a lot of doubts about me making it out to LA and standing on the soil. I mean, there was so many people that wanted that spot. There's a lot of people that told me not to go, that I was foolish for investing time in trying out. But why not me? And look at what happened. There I was on the ranch because I dared enough to step out and keep pursuing it and going after it. You guys, I thought I was going to be the biggest loser. I thought I was going to be the at-home winner. I thought, things aren't going to always go as you plan, right? Your plans are going to get messed up. It's not always going to be the way that you think it's going to be, but I'm going to tell you that if you will just keep going on in your journey and keep resetting and reevaluating and re-going after it, it will work out. Maybe not the way you have planned, but it will work out. So don't quit you. Don't quit. Tell everybody, don't wait. And you haven't because you're here. Don't settle. Don't settle till you get what you want and where you want to be. And then I'm going to tell you to never quit. Keep resetting goals. Keep reevaluating where you're at. Keep pushing yourself. Because it will not only help you, it will help all of those around you. You guys, dream big. Big, big dreams. And go for it. I wanted to leave some time. I know we have for questions. Because I know that there's a lot of questions usually about the show, about things that happened. I will answer any questions. Or I can tell more stories. So it's all up to you. Anybody have a question? No questions? So, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They watched our calorie budget.
So repeat the question,
Okay,
please.
I will. So were we ever tired or had health issues with the amount of working out that we were doing? Compared to the amount of calories we consumed. We were closely monitored by the doctors and the nutritionists on the ranch. So they took into account our DEXA scan, our age, our weight, all of these things, and then they gave us a calorie budget to suit, and we all ate our calorie budgets. And here's the thing. We didn't eat junk food. We ate fuel food. We ate to work out. So there wasn't any empty calories being consumed by our bodies. We ate lean proteins. We ate fruits and vegetables. And that was kind of it. And we just went after it. So every calorie that we consumed was pure beneficial fuel food. So we didn't eat, and there was no fluff, I like to say. There's no empty calories being consumed on the ranch or even at home. Is that helpful? Yes? Okay. So eat right. What I learned is that food is power if you eat the right food. We did it. Everyone asked, what is the Biggest Loser diet? I'm going to tell you there isn't a Biggest Loser diet. What I'm going to tell you is that they told us to eat real whole food, basic nutrition that we all learned in 8th and 9th grade in high school. They said eat lots of lean proteins, a lot of fruits and vegetables, drink your water, right? Cut out the junk food. What's crazy is I was always one that was looking for this quick fix, this quick cure. What I learned is that diet and exercise actually works. Who knew it? Who knew it? Darn it. Darn it. Any other questions? One question I always get is Jillian Michaels as scary as she in person? Yes. Yeah, she scared me a lot. But here's the other thing about Jillian Michaels is she gets the job done. She's one that's not afraid to push somebody past out of their comfort zones and get it done. That's one question I get a lot. Another question I get is how many hours a week do we work out on the ranch? And what is it like at home? I'm going to tell you that we work out crazy. We work out crazy. We work out a good 8 hours a day when we're at the ranch, and we eat our calorie budget. But here's the deal: we have no outside communication, right? There's no TV, there's no internet, there's no phone calls, there's no newspapers, there's no TV. There's nothing. So you get to eat, work out, rehab, sleep, eat, work out, rehab, sleep, eat, and that's it. It was like Groundhog Day every single day. That's all we did. That's all we did. That was our job. Our job was to lose weight, and that's what we did. People ask all the time, who and what is the chef like on the Biggest Loser Ranch? There isn't one. There's no chef. They fill the cupboards full of real clean whole foods, and then we all have to cook and prepare and make our own meals and eat our own calorie budget, count our own calorie budget to get us home on time. So there's no chef. There's nobody that does our laundry. There's nobody that scrubs our floors. It's like our house, and we all take care of it. I always say I think that's the way they get drama, right? What do? You put a bunch of overweight people in a house. You limit their calorie budget. You make them fight about the dishes. You work them out until they're super tired, and you make them homesick. You're bound to get a little bit of drama, right? It's the perfect storm for drama. Anybody have a question? Because I can keep pulling them out. Yes? On the ranch, were there any energy drinks or protein drinks or supplements taken? Here's what I'm going to tell you. There's none. There was none on the ranch. So there was no energy drinks. There was no magic shake. There was no pill. There was no nothing. It was all clean, healthy eating, a ton of water, and that was it. There isn't any. There wasn't any. We took an omega-3 vitamin. That was about it. Yeah. And they regulated us really close. Really close. They took our blood every week to make sure our blood levels were right. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. They do not film every day. They do have what they call dark days where there's no camera crew there. But we don't know until the night before when we get our call sheet, what they called it. So we would get the call sheet at night from the PAs, and they would then tell us if it was going to be a dark day or if we were going to have filming days. But we never knew from time to time when it was going to be. We didn't know but we would get 2 dark days a week and 5 filming days a week. And they didn't film all day. I think they filmed for 11-hour days. So 11 hours of the day, there was probably 3 different camera crews there. just filming all different aspects of the ranch. Yeah, but dark days were fun because then we could just kick back and relax, and we didn't have to totally worry about everything. But challenge days were the best. We would get our call sheet, and it would be like, okay, we need you to put a towel, pack a lunch, your red shirt, your whatever in a bag, and then meet us at the van at 9 a.m. And then you never knew where you were going or what you were doing. My husband was a youth pastor, so it totally worked for me. I'm like, I got this, like I'm in. But it would throw other people like for a loop, like not being able to know what was going on and to be able to just go with it. I think that's why the casting process is so rigorous. For casting process, people are always curious about that. After you go through the first interviews and the second, and they fly you out to LA for finals week, you are in a hotel room for up to 2 weeks, sequestered. So they put you in a hotel room, and you can't leave the room unless you're with a PA. And then they take you out for doctor's appointments. So they ultrasound every organ in your body. They do a lot of stress tests. You get to take a personality test. You get to take an IQ test. You get to sit with the interview with a psychologist. They do a ton of background work on you to make sure that you're just crazy enough to do it, but not too crazy enough, right? Right? Just to make sure that you're willing to do it. And then if you make it through the 2 weeks, it's a possibility of making it onto the show. Any other questions? Yes. Oh yes, I was once a Biggest Loser super fan, always a Biggest Loser super fan, right? It's funner to watch the show now because I can kind of see where things are different than watching it before, because there's a lot of things that happen that you don't get to see. Like, it's not that they change anything, but so if we finish a challenge, after a challenge, we finish a challenge, then they want to do interviews, and then they want to bring us all back together. They want to make sure they get all of our reactions to the challenge when we meet, but they have to do these other things. So we'd finish the challenge, then they would sequester us all so we couldn't talk about what happened, so that then they could move the cameras into the kitchen, and then they would have us all go into the kitchen, but we'd all had 20 minutes of alone time, and then they could get the reaction together. So now you can kind of see, oh, he had time to process some of that before he came into the kitchen. It just changes some of how you watch it after you've been on the show. But I will tell you, a lot of people ask me, is it true to life? And I said, it's kind of like reading the cliff notes to a really great book, right? You get this much of what actually happened, but it's true to the story. I think they capture a lot of everything the way it rolls down. Any other questions? Yes. What's my business? It's kind of crazy. Before I went on the show, I was a special education assistant in the high schools, which I loved my job. And then I started boot camps down at Riverfront, and that took off. And so I do that. That's my main gig, is I lead weight loss boot camps at Riverfront. But then I have found this new passion of sharing my story so that other people can sit inside of it and find their own story. So I'm also doing speaking as well. So those are the two main things that I'm doing now. And I love it. I feel blessed every day that I get to do what I get to do. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Big round of applause. Yay!
Thank you all. You guys, go for it. Go for it. Have fun.
Yep. If you're taking notes, one thing I want you to write down, VCT students, May 4th, 2017. That's your goal for the portfolio show right here in this room. That's the next big goal. All right, thanks everybody. See you in a month. There you go. Yay.
Yay.
Lisa, you're going to stick around for some questions?
I'll stick around for questions. I got nowhere to go real quick, so
okay, thank you.
I got all day.
There we go. Thanks.